Welcome, everyone. This is Pond Niels, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Krister
Hello.
and Cinders.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. And today we have some news about the roadmap for 2024. But before we do that, we have a small release to discuss, and that is update 38.2.1, which was released on Wednesday, January 17th. And there, several Umbar delving missions were incorrectly booting players to milestones, and this has been fixed. Well, that's...
That would have been shocking.
Yeah, especially if your milestone was set to Gondaman or someplace like that.
Right.
And Umbari crafting. We missed the permanent recipes. Crafters learn to upgrade their durable equipment to enduring items. This meant that the permanent versions of these recipes were still outputting the skilled versions of the items. We have adjusted this. Cinders, do you understand 2 words of what I just said?
I understand a little bit of it. So, the durable equipment is what you get when you take it from the base level to that second level, with the luckstone things. But beyond that, I don't know, because I haven't tried it since they updated it.
Okay.
To know what the difference is.
All right, then. Well, I presume that means that it was putting out the wrong version of the item, so now we hope that it's doing it properly.
Yep. So, fingers crossed.
All right. Fingers crossed. So let's head into what is the main item, and that is the letter from Orion, which was posted on January 16th, 2024. And this is a letter from Orion for this year, and the calendar turns and 2023 moves behind us. We welcome the new year with grace and humility. We are about to celebrate LOTRO's 17th year with no sign of slowing down on the horizon. At the onset of 2023, we provided our first roadmap to the game and the lofty goals we dreamed of achieving. It was an aggressive set of objectives preparing the game for a long and fruitful future. We did well getting to the core elements of the roadmap. In some areas, our ambitions overreached our ability. In other areas, we surpassed our expectations. It was also a successful year when we sang shanties aboard our ships as we sailed into Umbar. For 2024, our approach is providing more content and an additional hobby to continue your explorations and enjoyment of Middle-earth. We want to ensure that our communication is clear and open as we can. In the image below, you can see the quarterly roadmap with clever and tantalizing verbiage to whet your appetite for the coming year. And then we have the roadmap up there showing each of the items that we need for the quarter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first read this paragraph on it, then I'm going to read the breakdown of what it says on the roadmap. So we begin with winter of 2024 sees the conclusion and release of all content related to the Corsairs of Umbar, the addition of delvings to the Elder Slave missions, and an enhancement to the delving system we call Epic Malices. Gives you the chills just reading it, right?
No.
It doesn't.
No.
Okie dokie.
It gives me a headache.
It gives you a headache. All right. Anyway, what he has listed for the winter for the first quarter of 2024 are first 2 3-player instances,
Whoop, whoop.
1 6-player instance,
Whoop, whoop.
1 12-player raid,
Yeah.
Whoop whoop.
and the epic continues to chapter 8. So we will find out what happens after our little interlude that we had before. And then with delvings, they'll have, as he said in the paragraph, Elder Slade missions and epic malices. And we'll find out what the epic malices are all about. But he did say it's not just going to be something like more puddles or anything like that. So it has nothing to do with puddles or anything, because a lot of the current malices have to do with puddles. And he says, no, the epic malices have nothing to do with that. But he didn't go too much further into it. So we'll have to figure that out when we see the next update, when they start testing that on the on Borer. Yes. So that's it for the winter. Anything you want to say about the winter list so far?
I'm ready for the 12-person raid.
You're ready for the raid. Well, that's probably going to be a few weeks away at least.
That's okay. We still have to finish Guathranos, and we were so close.
We're so close, yes. So let's head into the spring as we move into the revelry of spring and the celebration of 17 years of the Lord of the Rings Online. We return to a content pack featuring time-released quests as you become further embroiled with the kindred of the coin and their plans. We also make some of the landscape creatures a little bit more compelling to encourage and fight. Oh, to encounter and fight, yes. To make some of the landscape creatures a little bit more compelling.
Uh-oh. I feel like there's some equivalent to Pokemon Go. There's, where they're going to say, we're all going to get like mobile Palantirs. The iPals. See, I've been pushing those. Crystalwick sells those. The iPals, the iPals. Mm-hmm. They're gonna release a game where you can go around to all these zones. It's gonna be crazy time in Tiny Town, where Bree's gonna be flooded again with a bunch of dwarves. Jeez, I mean, it took so many years to get them out.
Okay, well, first off, I think that anything like that is not what they're intending for the spring, simply because that might be the new hobby for the summer.
Okay.
I'm a little curious about how you would make them more compelling to encounter and fight, because
maybe like dailies or something. Some equivalent of missions where you're going out and maybe hunting landscape as opposed to going.
I could see that, unless they're planning to bring the lion's den a little bit closer, so it's not clear off in its own little space.
Well,
or they're
we'll have to
filling
see.
that big empty area between the road and the lion's den. Oh, maybe they're going to open up that stretch of beach at the top of Umbar.
I don't know. Somehow that doesn't fall under the category of trying to make some of the landscape creatures. Because first of all, it says some of the landscape creatures. That implies that they're talking about existing things on the map.
I know, but maybe it would be a reason to go up there. Maybe there's going to be some creatures up there that we could be compelled to go fight. I don't know. Take a vacation and go hunting.
Yeah, we'll see. In any case, so what they list on the roadmap are the Spring Festival, which of course is typical for the spring. The 17th anniversary, which is typical for the spring. So 17 years of LOTRO. And that means we will get our boxes for whatever year, how many years we've been on.
That's right. And how many? What are you going to get? Are you going to get to year 17 just like me? Just like Fancy Pants me? Now, I'm not one to brag and say that I was doing the beta. But I was here the first week.
Yes. You make sure that's clear, and the fact that I was 2 months late for getting into that.
I was playing this game where nerds were nerds. They weren't cool. Okay, so now you transitioned and get all these fancy pants like Pine Leaf in here. And no, I assumed you've been playing since the beginning as well. Fine, so.
Well, no, actually, I joined in August.
I'm the baby to this whole thing. I think I'm only getting year 7.
Yeah.
Just to think of it being around for 17 years. You think about the life cycle of video games in general. This is like 1 trillion years old. Video game years,
Oh yeah, but there are people who still hold tournaments for classic Nintendo Tetris.
Well, wasn't there recently a kid that broke that actually finish Tetris, and it was
Well, no, what he did is he triggered a he he triggered what was known to be a point where if you did something on a particular level, and I think it was in the 200s or something like that, where you would cause the thing to lock out because the software said no one's ever going to get that high, so it didn't have any conditions for going that high. So all sorts of bugs slowly accumulate as you go higher and higher up the levels, because once you get to level 29, it's supposedly impossible for any person to be able to go past that level because everything's dropping so fast. Before, of course, people started to figure out, well, if I hit the controller this way instead of that way, I could play faster. And so you have people going up to level 200 and stuff like that now. But yeah, he broke that and did that. And since then, I think two other people I think might have also have broken it, because once someone does something,
oh yeah, then it's then it's done. Then everything, yeah.
then it's something easier for other people to do it. Yes.
But I feel like that's what's so incredible about LOTRO, just is that it has been, in terms of the MMO landscape, it is ancient, It's still a fun to play game. It's still fun.
Yeah.
I love the content. I love what they've done with the landscapes, and of course, the blows the captain took this past year have been definitely, they were hard, but we have endured.
You have endured.
But now we're facing our sharpest challenge, which is the influx of shanty. There's too much shantiness in the lands now.
No, I would think. Well, that's because you were playing too close to the rivers and the beaches. See, if you stayed inland, I think you won't hear so many shanties, right?
Well, the problem is I'm banned from a lot of places inland. Still having some problems in Harwick, and
All right. Yeah. Okay. 17. Yeah. 17 years is a very, very good amount. So we'll see how we're going. And since we've got, and because there's other game, I think DDO is getting around 20 right now this year. So yeah, Sandstone game certainly has some long-lasting games, shall we say?
Yep, they do, definitely.
Yes, and so we had this. So we talked about Spring Festival 17th anniversary. Then the Epic. I also say that the Epic continues. So that means it's not just that the Epic story is going to continue. So we get chapter 8 in the winter. So we will get additional Epic chapters in the spring, and there will be a content pack called Catacombs of Umbar.
Sounds intriguing.
Yeah, so it looks like we are going to be going to places like under the city and stuff like that. And I get the impression that maybe we're going to be trying to root out any corsairs and people from Harad that may be hiding out in the city, trying to root them out, and maybe finish up with whoever that person is who's trying to distribute vile bile all over the place.
Yeah, what a terrible person.
Yeah, he's done some rather nasty things that we have to keep on tracking him.
Vile bile piles, man.
Yep.
Totally a thing.
But anyway, so in the springtime we will have, I guess that'll be up. Let's see, because we are at trying to get those, because we are at 38 was Umbar, so 39 I guess is going to be the raid, the instances and raids and stuff like that. So 40 I guess then is going to be the Catacombs of Umbar. And so we got on that. And then and then in the summertime, what we got there doesn't seem to be any verbiage for that one, but we'll just have to. Oh no, here it is. As spring turns into summer, we introduce a new hobby to provide updates to classes, monster play, and introduce the fourth profession. We are also playing to update the elf avatars and a refresh of our VIP system. Any comments on any of that stuff?
I'm just kind of curious what they mean by the elf avatar.
Well, it's the same thing. They've done that already for other races for updating the avatars.
I just want better hair for hobbits after seeing the river hobbit hairstyles. I'm jealous.
Well, there is. There,
M's not
there
an
is
elf,
that.
so she's gonna have to wait, but.
And now, I don't mean to sound like it's ominous, but I also, the class updates. Does anybody feel like? Does anybody hear a thunderclap? Class updates.
Well, of course, there are always class updates. There's going to be class updates every year, right?
But I feel like a lot of them are class down dates.
Fair.
Oh, you're being cynical about those.
Not me. I'm not being.
Hey.
I'm not bitter.
Hey, if they're saying they're providing updates, they could bring it back, Krister. That
That's
double
true.
res, it could come back.
Oh, the double
Especially
res.
if there's
I can
been
get the double
like,
res back.
especially if there's been enough upset, like maybe it's coming back in a modified form, so it's better than it is now, but not maybe as fabulous as it was before. You never know.
The problem that the true problem I had is that I couldn't argue with the logic of removing the res. So even though I understand exactly why they did it, I'm still unhappy.
Well, of course.
You just want to complain, yes.
Exactly. There we go.
All right. So the highlights they list in the roadmap are the Midsummer Festival, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The additional hobby. So any speculation on what the new hobby will be?
Flower picking.
Flower picking.
We already have to do that as a job.
Well, I know, but if you could do it for fun, and then you could make it into decoration.
Oh yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to pick flowers all day at work, and then come home and pick flowers. I would want to be as far away from flowers as I could possibly be when I was off of work.
Now, they did say it will involve. They get the impression that it might involve travel throughout Middle Earth. Is the impression I got during Orion's stream on Friday.
Cinders, how about this? Flower arranging.
Ooh.
See,
you
now
go
that might
around
be
and
the
just
hobby.
fix all the flowers. Nope, don't like this one. Let's make it blue.
I'm mystified by the additional hobby. I'm trying to think of what.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it's going to involve flowers, especially considering that farmers already make all these flower things. So
Fair. So my farmer doesn't do that, so that would be why I don't know about it.
What do you guys think about maybe macaroni art?
Maybe. I don't know. We don't have macaroni in game though.
Well, now and I don't want to spoil anything because I know we are being roadmap, but I know that they're thinking about introducing legendary macaroni.
Okay.
Legendary macaroni.
That's right.
Are we allowed to put it in our hats?
No, you're gonna. It's a pocket item.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's think. So in the real life, fishing is totally a hobby, and it's a hobby here. So what are some other like real life hobbies that people have?
Oh, model trains.
Trains, yeah. I don't know. Are there trains in Middle Earth? Maybe not.
I don't think they're. Well, the only type of trains you'd have in Middle Earth would be wagon trains.
Oh.
Maybe they like to build like 1/32 scale wagons. Oh, dude, look at this! I just put together Gandalf's wagon.
Hey, I mean, it's a possibility. Let's see, what else are hobbies? I mean, maybe you could.
Oh,
no,
woodworking? No, that's a profession.
Yeah, and reading's a profession with scholars.
Sewing? No, that's
how about
How
about Mumak writing?
Ooh.
Oh.
You
my goodness! Can you imagine?
And you can write it all over Middle Earth. Sans would be in
You can put your entire
love.
kin. You can just plop the kin house right on top of a Mumak, and then and have it trample too. Oh my goodness!
Or even be able to mounts
you
that
guys,
could take
this just
more
brought
than
a tear to
1%.
my eye.
That would be fabulous.
Thinking of glorious Mumak trampling over Middle Earth.
Now, Orion did say that the new hobby is definitely not golf.
Oh.
Okay, so it's golf.
Is it? Maybe they extended the range of the chickens?
I don't think they quite.
Chicken run for a hobby? I don't know.
I don't know. That just doesn't quite sound like it'll be the case. Well, I guess we'll just have to figure out. Well, as it gets clear,
I know, it's jumping off of things.
people do that already for deeds.
Well, I know, but you can't get deeds everywhere, but maybe the thing is that you like jump only it's more like a bungee cord or skydiving as a hobby.
Okay, skydiving as a hobby.
Oh, that would be cool if it was like flying.
Well, yeah. The trouble is
Fly
with
for a hobby.
the trouble with skydiving as a hobby is the fact that there are very, very few ways to get aloft, and somehow I don't think that the eagles are going to appreciate being used as platforms for skydiving.
Well, you don't use them; you include them. So you're paying them money. They're
I mean, you might be able to get a little eagle, like a young eagle, to do it because they think it's funny to just take you up and drop you.
What about a slingshot? That'd be temporary.
Ooh,
Really big
catapulting.
I would say using heavy siege equipment does not qualify. I'm thinking that it would have to be something that's reasonably portable.
I'm sorry.
I mean, our
Finally,
horses fit in our pockets, so
only the coolest people use heavy siege. Okay.
Okay, you do have a point with the horses in the pocket.
See, I can just see it now. You have your own little.
Oh, how about this? Maybe
thing in your
horseshoeing.
Oh,
Maybe the hobby is horseshoeing, so that you can make your regular mount move as fast as a horse steed.
Ooh.
And somehow, I don't think that just doesn't quite sound like a hobby to me.
Maybe it's horseback racing.
Hairstyling.
Ooh.
Yeah, horseback.
That's a barber.
Yeah. No, I think any form of racing is going to be very, very problematic because racing has always been problematic on the official side. Because because they originally had the horse racing in the festivals, and they had to change that into a time trial because of how much trouble they had. Because no matter what the result was, someone will complain, said that claimed that they won the race because your refresh on your screen is such that you look like you're in front, no matter where you are in the race.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it could be something like gambling.
I don't think they want to encourage that.
I mean, we encourage the drinking and the smoking.
Well, yes, but how much gambling is there in Token? Because yes, the smoking and the drinking are parts of
That's
it.
in the lore.
That's in the lore, and that's why it's in the game.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. Well, anyway, it looks like so far none of us have come up with any good ideas. Did anyone in the chat come up with an idea?
We have nobody in the chat except the Players Alliance. So
Hooray!
all of our ideas are theirs.
All right, then. Let's say, okay, fourth profession added. They think that they'll finally be able to bring it out. Well, they're giving themselves 6 more months to do it, so I guess they're saying, okay, by then it should really be ready.
Okay, so I have a question on the fourth profession because I seem to have missed some information. Is it like your character can train a fourth profession, or is it like a totally new profession we haven't seen yet?
No, it's an existing profession that, and you could train. Yeah, so right now you can train up to 3.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, that makes sense.
So now you could have 4 instead of 3.
Okay.
So therefore, if you wanted to be a weaponsmith with the prospecting attached to it, and a woodworker with the forestry attached to it, then you could do so.
I'm just thinking, okay, so Cinders can make, or not Cinders, M can make jewelry, she can prospect, she can make heavy armor. Now she needs to be a weaponsmith, and then she can make her own shield spikes. And that would take care of it. That would be my fourth profession right there.
Okay.
I've got this. I'll
you
let you know
got
how
this.
it goes.
You'll You just have to make lots and lots of shield spikes to lower levels so that you can get to higher level aggressively.
Lots and lots and lots and lots.
Just buy the Gundabad thing, and then you just have to make Gundabad and Umbar.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
What?
All right. Oh! I see what you say. You just go to the LOTRO store and buy up the Gundam.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that just kind of mithril coin their way through life.
I mean,
It's an
maybe
empty
you
hollow life.
can.
Okay, it sounds expensive though.
Yes, it is. That's exactly it.
It
They're
could
flaunting
be.
their wealth.
Yeah. All right. And now, next thing it says is further adventures. So, and they said that this is going to be a further adventure to it'll be an actual Tolkien character. It will be a male character, they said, and that people will really, really enjoy doing a further adventures for. And we're trying to think which character they're talking about.
Samwise.
Yeah, and one thing about Samwise is that I'm sure Samwise would be a very, very good character for further adventures, but I'm thinking that Samwise might be better for a few more years down the line. Because for me, further adventures of Samwise him would be when after he comes back to the Shire and all the things that he does there. And of course that's further adventures of Samwise 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of interesting to think about it.
Yeah, so I'm trying. Some people are speculating maybe Gandalf.
Yeah, you're trying
And
to think about who's not under significant obligation at the time. You know? So,
right.
like, you think. Actually, yeah, guys, Gandalf makes the most sense to me. I think out of everybody.
And let's see. Now the question is, of course, the thing about Gandalf is when is this further adventure set? Because the one with Bilbo is set right after the Company of the Ring sets out. The one for Eladon Elrohir is set before is set before the company goes out because it's when they're doing their scouting for between the time that Frodo arrives and the company leaves out. So I don't know whether this is going to be a case that's going to be in the same time frame or if can be something later. Because Gandalf, obviously, if it's Gandalf, what kind of further adventure will he have while he's sitting around in Rivendell?
Maybe he gets bored and then decides, it was a lot happier. My life was a lot better when Sauron was around, and then he brings Sauron back again.
Oh, please don't.
He forges the 1.5 ring.
Ring 2.0.
2.0. Oh boy, what would a Ring 2.0 do that's different from the original ring?
Not be
It would be a
destroyable in a
phone.
volcano?
It would be a phone. You could take pictures with it.
You can take pictures of it. Oh, okay. So it's an eye ring.
I love it.
With the ring, you could take panoramics.
Ah, yes. Oh, yes. Okay. So you just hold up your finger and give it a nice view of it and take some
Has to be
panoramic photographs of the
Yeah,
entire
and
area.
now all the bounders basically instead of like cops wear badge cams these days, or body cams. The bounders wear ring cams as a dispensing justice in the Shire.
Okay.
There's all kinds of it's a dream. We've got to corner the market in this now. We can make millions.
Right?
And now I understand Sauron's motivation. Money.
Okay, sorry.
I need some place like a big, gigantic mountain filled with lava to forge these things. Hey, I know one that's been recently vacated.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Finally, he's just like, I don't even know what to do with this.
Yes. All right. Then next we have Monster Play updates.
I always, with Monster Play for me, it was always I wasn't adverse to it. It was just that I preferred to do it with people. It was never a solo thing for me, I guess. So
Right.
what I hope is I'd love to see PvP return in some more. I don't even know what I'm saying with it. Like a more significant fashion, where it was more. The old days where that was a very active zone all the time. And you can have those epic battles, because some of those epic battles in that zone are a blast. There's nothing to say about it. It's really fun when you have a large group of people duking it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's always been a tricky one since Ryan was saying that when he first developed the PvMP system, they were not seriously thinking anyone would actually be using it. It was just a sidelight thing that I think it was a sidelight project for him that he did, just in case, but wasn't expecting it to be taken up by the community as much as it was, and
Well, okay. So if that's the case, then maybe this update is going to be something really cool.
we'll
If
have to
they're
see.
going to try to address it, and say, maybe this wasn't the vision that we should have had, or we just didn't understand what the vision was at the time. But
Right.
now that we know what's going on, now that we know what people want, now that we see all the other things happening, can we make improvements that'll make this legitimately
Well,
fun and competitive?
Well, yeah, the always tricky thing is, of course, is like everything else when they come up with the grand vision is, okay, now we got this grand idea. How do we fit it into the rest of the system in the game?
Well, right. Fair enough.
Somehow, when the vision gets translated into the game, there's always some system in the game that just doesn't sync right with it. Because, like, for example, mounted combat.
All right, we're gonna have to reintroduce Radiance.
Yes. Oh, good grief! Not another version of Radiance. Oh yes, Radiance 4.0. Yes.
We
Then of
call it
course we have
fluorescent.
right. Then we already talked about Elf Avatar refresh, or where they're hoping to make updates to the avatars. There, they did something similar to. I know they did something for the Hobbits years and years and years ago. I think even before Cinder's time. Then
Probably.
they had. I think the Race of Man had an update last year or something like that. Well,
I don't know. I know that they did some graphics changes to them, because you can always choose to show the avatar update. But I don't know what else they did.
Yeah. So anyway, I can't remember all the updates in them, but so it's probably something similar to what they did to the Race of Man before. And then we have, of course, as Krista was complaining about, class updates. It's the next item on the list. And finally, it says VIP updates. Ooh, what could they be doing for VIPs?
My hope would be changing what Mantham armor looks like.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Well,
or maybe they're going to give a Shire Plum that if you're VIP, you can purchase for your war steed.
I don't
I
think
hope
that's going to be. I don't think that'll be their VIP update.
I can dream. I can dream. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what that means. So I'm assuming it's a positive thing.
So far, I have no complaints about the VIP things that they've done.
Yeah, I think that one of the reasons on the VIP updates is because over the last couple of years, we've had these coupons where you could get a large number of quest packs for free. Which, of course, is the question. Okay, then what? So this is for the VIP to be meaningful, and they're hoping to have something more in there that's exclusive to the VIPs. Who knows? Maybe they could have enhance the Wenda item a little bit more. Who knows? What could they enhance that with anyway, though?
Oh, I'm thinking you make a 6-pack of jugs. You know the jug we can pick up where you drink it and you can craft fast. And you don't suffer any wear and tear on your equipment. You make that so you have like 6 of them that you can carry at a time. And so then you can just chug it. You can just go to her, visit her like once every couple months, get a 6-pack, go off raiding, come back in a few days.
Well, I suspect that the reason why they have that 2-week limit as it is because if your VIP expires, they don't want someone to be able to have 6 jugs with them so that they could use it anytime they want after their VIP expired.
Well, yeah, but then I feel that you just simply change the nature of the jug at that point. So instead of the jug providing a benefit, what the jug does is once you imbibe it and you've lost your VIP status, it immediately logs you out of the game and deletes you.
What is with you and logging out and just delete the tunes?
That I think this has taken such a turn that I think it's time to head to autumn.
I agree. I'm sorry.
Summer has gotten
I've had far
dark.
too much caffeine.
Yes. In the autumn, we will release a new expansion pack that takes us east of Umbar Baharvel, visiting 4 new zones, encountering a new culture, exploring the waste, and a vast complex that serves as the staging ground for the instances and raid with the expansion pack. Outside the expansion, we intend to make some crucial changes to the kinship system, expanding the role, importance, and value of kinships.
What? Okay.
All right.
See what that means.
All right, we'll see about this. But okay, we'll begin with the new expansion. 4 new regions, a new instance cluster, and a new raid. Now, one of the things that they're trying to do, and we'll see if they manage it or not, and I'm sure we will speak on this in December at the last episode, where we will discuss how well they succeeded in getting that new instance cluster and new raid out before the end of the year. Because that's what
I
they're
would love
trying
to
to
see
do
them.
this year.
I think if anything, I'd love to see them hit it on time. Get the new raid out when you see it.
Yeah. Now, it's not going to come out on the day of the expansion release because they want people to be able to get the level cap before the raid releases, because who's going to do the raid?
Makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there is going to be an interval. But their plan is they hope to get the expansion out in October instead of in late November and December. And if they do that, then they have a better chance of being able to have people get up to level, stuff like that. And then they'll be able to get the instances and the raid out by the end of the year. I think that's what they're planning on that, but we'll see how well they could keep on that schedule.
That's awesome too, because I've been really enjoying this new content, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
See what they've got for us next.
Yes. So now, of course, they said we're going east. So that sounds like to me that we were talking about Harad, because that sounds like the most likely place. And that's certainly a new culture for us to encounter. And that means running into the Empire. And I'm pretty sure that the Song of Waves and Wind is going to eventually point us right straight towards the Haradrim Empire. And that we have to go into there and deal with it, because we know that the Kindred of the Coin, we might be able to come to an accord with them, but Harad might be a lot tougher.
Excellent.
Yeah, because we'll have to see. And then, of course, that means going into the desert. Oh, how about camel mounts?
As long as they are war camels. Get the war steeds fixed. War camels, war boars, war shrews. You know, they could war everything.
Okay, well, let's see. Well, at least war camels are plausible.
Could a war camel be a 2-seater?
Ooh.
I just wonder if that's an interesting question. I don't know if war camels have ever been 2-seaters.
That would be kind of. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Well, if you had they should be 2-seaters, because you would need one person to control the camel and one person on the back to actually like defend you or attack.
Well,
Well,
but I always imagine camel warriors have been similar to cavalry, where the same person did both.
or come on now, Pineleaf. You can take, let's say you can take 5 hobbits. Okay, so you have like straps on the hump of the camel that have 4 little baskets, and so the 4 baskets each have a hobbit in it, and then you have a hobbit on the top of the hump. And so, just think about the fine motor control you'll have with a camel. You know what? I'm going to stop. I'm sorry. I mean,
Actually, I was just imagining that, and it's kind of a hysterical picture.
well, I've often declared that I wanted to mount one of our hunter hobbits on the front of my war steed, like a papoose on its chest, so we could have a hunter firing arrows as I'm trampling things. But anyways, to be serious, let me stop being goofy. That camels sound like that would be awesome. That would be an awesome addition to the mounts. And I'd be curious about how big they would be, because I'm all into the gigantic war steed and stuff. So
Yeah.
they might make me switch off my war steed with the camels bigger.
Ooh, it'd be funny if they gave it a skill where it could spit.
All
that could be
right.
the equivalent of the dwarven headbutt attack, right?
Right?
Oh, right. And also they say that the epic continues. Well, I guess that makes sense if it's continuing along the storyline from Umbar going into Harad. Now, kinship refresh. You think they could really do anything to help kinships?
Well, I'm wondering what I wonder what the idea is behind it, because I wonder if it's like, if you're logging in regularly, maybe you have some kind of benefit where you're getting an experience bonus or something.
Well, I don't think it's going to be that, because he's saying, at least Orion gave the impression that that when some people suggested something similar to that, he says that's you're thinking too mundane was his response to it.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's not going to be just an XP. Besides, an XP bonus is, I don't know. It just, people will create kinships just to be in a kinship to get the XP bonus, and that's not going to help anything. I think the idea is to try to make it more of a social structure that that they were created to be, and just an XP bonus that I don't think will satisfy that.
Well, that's kind of boy that but you can think of all kinds of possibilities there too. Like what could they be built? Could you build like a kin crafting system? Where you have to build everything at the kin house, but you can manufacture things that you can't manufacture normally, or that you're maybe your kin's age and experience and number of active players can influence what you guys can make. I'm trying to think of what it could,
Well,
could there be like a track, like the reward track, maybe for kinship and participate? Because, like you're saying, it'd probably be because the whole point of the kinship is for you guys to get together and do stuff.
Right.
Is people that are doing that on a regular basis are tracking on a tracker somewhere in visual windows.
Maybe the kinship will have an in-game raid sign-up system.
Oh, that would be cool. I would be totally down with that. That would be awesome.
Yeah. The only problem there, of course, is what if someone not in the kinship wanted to
sign up,
join in the raid?
You could have like a delegate or something, or attendee, or
have an ally.
Guest pass. Yeah.
Way.
Well, then that could be interesting too, because if you're really wanting to push the socialization part of it too, is maybe you would legitimately have kinships you ally with too, and then that's how those two kins can start raiding together.
Oh yes, that is, and in fact, there have been cases of alliances done off the game.
Right.
In other words, like in websites and stuff like that, where there have been alliances before. And because I know I was part of a group of a kinship on Winfola, and it was part of a larger group called the Winfola Alliance. And so there were several kinships that were a member of the Windfall Alliance. And so I know that one of the tricky things that they were trying to figure out is when Windfall was closing, is the Alliance had to make a decision. Okay, the Alliance, I think, had made a recommendation. Okay, this is a recommended server that we're going to be going to, and then I think the bulk of the kinships then moved over to that server. I think some went elsewhere, but I think that's the way that wound up going. But the idea there is it was an alliance, so you had about 10, I guess, 10, 20 ones in there. So we have to see how, maybe they could have an alliance system in there to help with that. We'll have to find out. Now, of course, right now, you do have the forums on doing some of the stuff, I think, relating to kinships, but you're right, there's nothing private to the kin inside of that, because it's just a particular thread, so maybe we'll see. We'll see how that works.
Yeah, definitely curious about that. So.
All right. Then we have, of course, Harvest Math and the Yule Festival also slated for the autumn's quarter. So that is...
Sorry, celebrating the festivals.
Oh, yeah, celebrating the festivals. And that's what's on store right now on the plans for 2024. And it is a new year. We are all very excited about the future, what lies ahead, and how we carry the cadence of releases into the future. As always, I remain Orion, and that is it for the letter. So, any final thoughts on the letter before we continue then?
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to a lot of the stuff that's coming here. So
you look forward to when at the end of the year we go over, okay, now what did they really do?
Yeah. Then I look forward to tearing it all apart at the end of the year.
Well, I think that at least what they have scheduled here isn't as... There's a couple of things that they had last year. They weren't knowing what they were getting into, let's just say. So,
well, yeah.
I think they have a better idea this year of what they can do and what they can't do. So I think that they have a better chance of hitting the goals for this year. We'll see. So let's then head on to the next item, where the Corsairs of Umbar soundtrack is now available on YouTube. And yes, I did check my subscription feed on YouTube, and yes, I saw these Corsairs of Umbar tracks that are... I think there are 20 or 30 of them in there. So yes. So that's it for that. So let's go into our store sales. Cinders, what's on sale this week?
On sale this week is the Sublime Patrons Coffer that has returned for a limited amount of time. It's available through February 1st. And if you are a big fan of boars, that would be a great place to look at. Go there. You can read more on LOTRO.com. You can go there and back again as well, getting 20% off of Milestone Skills, Hurried Traveler, and Returning Traveler. So if you want those 5-minute cooldowns, now's the time to get them. Advanced Riding Traits, Rally Horns through January 25th. And the weekly coupon is actually for free Black Steel Key. So the coupon code is Steel Key, all caps, now through January 25th as well.
And yes, when I got the Steel Key thing, I had to... Okay, so which character gets the Steel Key? And then remember to take the loot box drop off of my filter long enough for me to get one. So so I could actually get a box to open with the key. And that's it for our store sales this week. So let's go into our week in gaming. Krister, what were you up to?
Well, Friday night we assembled, and we had a wonderfully full group at that point. So I actually have to start being responsible about doing signups again, which is good. And we had the return of our kin leader was on this raid this time, which was awesome, and it's just good to see everybody there. We had good friends and allies joining us as well, and then we also had Cinders and Piping. So,
Woohoo!
no, so Cinders and Pine Leaf joined us last night, and we ran the Witch King's Citadel, and we had a lot of fun. I think it went relatively smoothly. We almost we almost got it. It was one of those, like, what were we down to, 2%, 1%? I mean, it was something.
I think it's below 1% at the
Yeah,
time.
we were right on the edge, and the edge was
Nice.
our roomkeeper being a phenomenally applying Do Not Fall, and it was the difference between her Do Not Fall came up, I died, her Do Not Fall came up, I'm going to hit yes as she dies, and if I had managed to get up, I think we could have potentially seen it through. But even though it was frustrating that happened, everybody at the end of the night said that it was a blast and we had a lot of fun, and so it was really enjoyable. And I'm hoping you guys had the same experience, of course. But yeah, so the Witch King Citadel was a blast. My kid, I don't think this is happening tonight. I think I'll probably have this happen tomorrow. But my kid has offered, based on the fact that I'm still one of the people with the lowest morale in the raid, and I'm unfortunately supposed to be one of the people that's one of the toughest, and I'm not. I'm a wimp. And so my kid is going to quit me. They're taking pity on me and my gear, and they're going to re-gear me. So that's,
I've been telling you.
So I'm honestly looking forward to that. It's very nice of them to do that. And so Krista will emerge once again as as a talentless, mediocre tank. But that's much better than where he's at right now. So. And so other than that, I picked up, I used to play Axis and Allies, the board game, quite a bit. And so I picked up the online version of that and been playing that. It's some fun nostalgia. I have a couple other friends I've been playing this game called Void Crew with, which was pretty fun. And, of course, my orc continues to speed around ESO. I have now figured out a way, through the Mundus Stone bonuses, I am now slightly faster than anybody else I've encountered. And I love the moment where you're riding with your mount and somebody else is riding that has obviously maxed out everything. And then they realize, I just see the moment they realize, that guy's pulling away from me. How is that? What is happening? How is this happening? So I'm deriving a lot of joy from that. So Cinders, what did you get up to?
So I actually re-downloaded Raft at my son's request, and so I played Raft with my son and with Sans, and it is not as bad playing it with friends as it was when we were all trying to play by ourselves, and I was like, I can't do this. There's too much happening. I can't keep up with it. So we kind of all teamed up, and it was actually pretty fun, but they also turned the shark off so it wouldn't just attack and like knock you into the water. So that was really nice for figuring out how everything worked without it being a trial by fire. So we'll probably do that again at some point, but it was kind of a surprise for my son because he wasn't expecting Sans to be able to play with us. But she was like, yeah, I think I can do that. And so we did that before bed. And then we, like Krista was saying, we almost beat Guathranos. We were so close. Tried a few different strategies, and we got much further, I think, this time.
Yeah, that's definitely the best.
That's the furthest anybody's gotten with that in the group, and so that was exciting. I did take I pulled a Krister, is what I'm calling it, where I grabbed everything and ran around in circles, and then pretty soon Krister was also running around in circles, and then at one point we were running in circles in the opposite direction, and I was like, wait, what happened to everything? Why are they running towards me from the front? I was like, oh wait, we ran in opposite directions. This is not how that was supposed to be going, but okay. So that was fun. And then went Angmar dating with Pineleaf, and I promised him this would show up in the podcast, so it's here, Pineleaf, as promised. We realized Pineleaf had not done his fem. So Pineleaf did his fem while I ran around killing things for the deeds. And then I did some ill omens with Pine Leaf today, and we did really well. We had no problems at all with ill omens after we got Pine Leaf proper equipped with some new clothing and some new jewelry.
starting to get my character up to spec. Yes.
Yes, because Pine Leaf did take me up on the offer of making jewelry and armor for him, so I did that today. And so, Pine Leaf, what have you been up to this week?
All right, I'll begin with my main warden, who reached level 150, and I started running ill omen skirmishes as Cinders reported. I had to run them pretty low level at first because my gear was pathetic as I got to level 150, but Cinders sent me all sorts of nice little things, and in addition to that, because I had a couple of boxes that had special ingredients in there. So I've opened them up and I've got some of those red stones in there. So I made essences. So I just plugged in these into the essences, and they're the flickering essences that you can make from your recipes in there. So I have some pretty good essences now, and there's some pretty good equipment. So now I'm able to do skirmishes at level, which is of course a pretty good goal for when you're Pine Leaf. That's something you want to be able to do. And then, so on the field trip, the Merry Mariner crew, we were down to 3 this week. So we decided to run some small fellowship skirmishes. And in fact, because we were low level, Wenda had the tuck roll and all that stuff thing in there, even though that wasn't one that was active for the higher level players at that time. So we were able to go in, run those skirmishes, and we always consider ourselves, we are 3 mariners, so we are a perfectly balanced fellowship, at least until we starting using our fore and aft skills. Then we may go a little off balance as a result of that. And my lore master completed the 10 quest wrapper for the Ill Omen skirmish event. So I have the really nice cloak you get for the Ill Omens event, and the nice enhancement rune that you get for that. And on top of that, I have also got I noticed, as they were noting in there, that there is this one empty enhancement slot that says cloak enhancement slot. So that's going to be teasing me until those things get introduced. And I find out, okay, is there any way for me to get this without raiding? We'll have to find out. And the strangest thing that happened while I was skirmishing with my lore master is that I was running Defense of the Prancing Pony. And it just so happened that last week on Friday Night Fights, not this, that with when Veteran Ploy, when we were doing Ill Omens there, that we had this incident at the. It actually was Friday Night Fight. Yes, Friday Night Fight when I was doing that last week. We had an incident in the Prancing Pony where we had duplicates of an encounter mob. Well, what happened? Yes. Well, what happened is that it had been a year, I think, at least, since I had seen that happen. So I thought that bug disappeared. But it so happened that when my lore master was running a solo prancing pony this week, I came to a point where I had just finished killing the raven in there that comes up in there, and I thought, okay, fine there. And so I was hearing now that we're coming in, running onto the other side, and it was old hunter. Oh, old hunter is here. I didn't realize that old hunter was active this skirmish. So okay, well, don't worry, I'll just pull the old hunter in there, and that's when I realized no, the old hunter was not in that skirmish. It was the skirmish bug, and that there were 3 copies of the old hunter in there, and of course, when you got 3 copies of it, so I'm running a solo skirmish, so I did have the solo version in there. And I had the small fellowship version in there, and I had the full fellowship version. So I had 3 old hunters coming at me, and now I'm fighting on my lore master in there. And I don't know how I managed to wipe them all out without Teeth Straw getting killed in the process. But okay, I managed to do that and finish the skirmish. Now, what was really strange was soon afterwards, I think it was the following day, I was running the Fort of Bruinen. And what I got extra copies of weren't the encounters, but of the defilers. So
Oh, that would be so frustrating. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I had three. I think it was 3 copies of each of the 2 defilers. Now, everyone knows that the odds of going through the entire skirmish without either Eladad or Elrahir attacking the defilers is just about nil. So, of course, the skirmish ended when suddenly Eladad or Elrahir saw them, ran to them, and yeah, it was just bye-bye from there. So that ended the skirmish because there was no way I was going to fight 6 defilers, especially considering that 2 of them were elite master, so or at least elite. I don't know if they were elite or elite master versions of it, but they were obviously on the tough side and a bit too much for Eladad and Elrond here to handle.
Well, that's what's horrible about those duplicates in general that you're experiencing is that each copy is much worse than the last. So
yeah, that's the problem. Is that they're not really 3 copies of the same mob. They are 3 different versions of the mob. So yeah, that's really gives it quite a bit of problem in there. So anyway, but I managed to at least get by the copies of the old hunter, and so it looks like that I fought a bugbear.
oh, that caused me physical pain.
Yeah, all right. Yes. And we do not have any emails to read this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast at LOTROplayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows each week. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News, and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. That is all for tonight, and this is Piling Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.